Hello guys, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, let us discuss Arsenal's top 5 transfer summer signings 2021. We've been linked with so many players, defenders, midfielders, strikers, but I've just zeroed down to 5 players that I think are gonna be Arsenal's summer targets. 5 players. So we're gonna discuss that and more. Do me a favor, smash the like button, get your subscriptions in. As soon as you confirm that you've subscribed, hit the notification bell so that you're notified whenever the channel uploads or comes live. Video is brought to you by OneXpert. Make sure you check out their website, link is in the description. Use promo code Cossy Media. You'll be able to win a couple of prizes, smart TVs, smartphones. On their website they have online casinos, they have all games for betting available for betting, and they have the best odds. And in this weekend you could bet on Manchester City against Chelsea in the UCL final. Who will win it? Me and you. But anyway, let us get into the video. Who are our 5 top targets in 2021? Last summer we had Coutinho, we had Partey, we had Housem Awa as our priority targets, and we signed only one of them. The rest of the signings we made were not really our top targets. So in this summer, I've zeroed down to 5 players that I think Arsenal will be trying to chase until the end of the summer. Number 1 is E.TAPSOBA, B.LEVERKUSEN, and his price tag, his release clause actually, is £44 million. Now, Tapsoba is on top of our shortlist for defenders after confirming that Arsenal will be going for centre back as a priority target, and I was really surprised. It's also reported that on top of the search list of centre backs, Arsenal are looking at E.TAPSOBA. 22 years of age, is a very young defender, very physical defender, very good in the air, and in terms of looking for a centre back, he is on top of our list. So I think throughout the summer, if Arsenal are really serious about signing a centre back, it's either going to be Tapsoba or no one else. According to the likes of the Athletic and David Onstein, they're saying Arsenal are in deep talks with B.LEVERKUSEN to see that they can actually get the player. They hope to sign him for even less than £44 million, which is his release clause. He signed for B.LEVERKUSEN just 1 year, but he's believed to be one of the best young defenders in Germany and Europe at the moment. Do you take Williamson? Do you take E.TAPSOBA at Arsenal? That's the big question. And my only concern with this deal is what does it mean for William Saliba? Now, the 2 other players that I've gone for are right backs, and the first one is Max Aarons, a right back. And the reason as to why I've gone for 2 right backs, Aarons and HAKIMI, is our right back at the moment, who's Hector Bellerin, has been clear to leave the club first and foremost. And I also think Arsenal should be looking at a right back as our priority and major area of reinforcement. So I've gone with 2 players. First one is Max Aarons. Now, Aarons has been linked with Arsenal before, even last summer, and is a very big name in terms of transfers because he's been linked with Barcelona and Bayern Munich before. So I think if Arsenal are really going to sign Max Aarons, we have to be very set. £35 million. He's playing with Norwich. £35 million is the price, which could be negotiated to around 29 to 28 million pounds, but I don't think it will actually go below that. The question is, do you take Max Aarons over ACHRAF HAKIMI? Of course, we've been linked to the likes of Tariq Lamptey and the others, but I think at the end of the day, Arsenal will go for Max Aarons. We'll try to sign Max Aarons. That's according to Fabrizio Romano. I think our interest is genuine, and we will try to sign Max Aarons until we fail. So I think that is the first player we will try to go for in right back. Then the other is ACHRAF HAKIMI. Now, HAKIMI has been on the radar for Arsenal, I think, for around 1 month. But the question is, can we pay the price? He's playing with Inter Milan at the moment, £60 million. That is what Inter want. It's a little bit ridiculous of money. I mean, it's not a little bit, but it is really, really ridiculous. So not ridiculous because the player doesn't deserve it, but I think, you know, in terms of us, you know, and the financial situation we are in at the moment, I don't see us go for a deal like ACHRAF HAKIMI. But I think if you ask me, he is the you know, he would be the first priority I would go for, apart from Max Aarons, because you know, he's a finished article, young defender, 22 years of age. He's been a dogman, he's been at Inter Milan, he has had a great season. Romano says the club in Inter Milan, they want him to stay, but the likes of Conte leaving could also mean that ACHRAF HAKIMI could actually leave the club as well. A couple of other clubs are interested, especially PSG. Could they pay the 60 million pounds? Can Arsenal pay the 60 million pounds? Arteta loves the player, Edu admires the player as well, but are we gonna pay that much for the player? It remains a question to be seen. Before we go any further, please do smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, turn on the notification bell, because the transfer summer is just beginning and we are gonna travel through the summer together. Okay, in terms of the midfield, I've gone with two players that seem to be very, very serious, and this is YVES BISSOUMA, Brighton, and EMI.BUENDIA. Now, the first one in YVES BISSOUMA is, for me, is a realistic target. Very, very realistic. I mean, both players are realistic targets, but I think BISSOUMA is more realistic, especially when you consider the price tag of the player. Now, recently, Brighton lowered the price of the player from 40 million pounds to 30 million pounds, and that is why, and that's where for me it gets very, very interesting. If you know, if a club like Brighton lower the price of a player from 40 to 30, they want to sell. And the player himself, of course, there have been a couple of transfer hints here and there. We have tried to discuss, you know, things with his agent. We have not formally gone to Brighton to talk to them, but at least we have formally talked to the agent of the player. Now, the player is an Arsenal fan, according to reports, but also has had a couple of negotiations and talks with Nicola Pepe, his former teammate, way back at Nice. So there's so many things around this deal, but I think it's a very, very realistic, especially at a time when we are losing Granit Xhaka. You think one of the possible replacements of Xhaka is going to be YVES BISSOUMA. So I expect YVES BISSOUMA's name to echo throughout the summer a lot. And at the end of the day, probably it's a deal Arsenal would do. Now, finally, in terms of Arsenal transfer priorities, it is EMI.BUENDIA, who is reportedly going to be the first signing of the summer for Arsenal new sporting director. That is interesting because according to The Athletic, this guy wants EMI.BUENDIA to be his first transfer of the summer. However, the BUENDIA deal is a little bit more complicated than we expected, a little bit more complicated than we thought. First and foremost, you have EMI.BUENDIA being priced at 40 million pounds. Now that is a hell lot of money as compared to what Arsenal would want to pay for. We want to pay around 25 to 35 million pounds for the player. And Norwich are saying if you do not have 40 million pounds, you're never gonna take him anywhere. Are they gonna reduce on their price? That's a very big question. But it's a player that has had a very wonderful campaign, very, very wonderful campaign. With Norwich FC down in the championship. He's been named championship player of the year last season, but one in the Premier League. He created 83 goal scoring opportunities. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's brilliant. So he is one of our top 5 priority targets, especially with Real Madrid not sure if they want to let Martin Odegaard go, because they have lost their manager in Zinedine Zidane. So the new manager that comes in, we don't know. Are they gonna let him go? Are they gonna keep him? It's a very, very hard situation. But according to The Athletic, they say it is either Odegaard or EMI.BUENDIA. So that's the beauty with it. We either have to wait and see what comes out of the vetting process at Real Madrid, who becomes manager, and how much do they love Martin Odegaard. If Martin Odegaard remains at Real Madrid, then EMI.BUENDIA is definitely going to be our number 1 target. And David Onsen has already said Arsenal are looking at getting in a goal-scoring midfielder who is either EMI.BUENDIA or Martin Odegaard. Please do smash the like button if you love the content. Subscribe the channel if this content is useful to you as an Arsenal fan. And of course, do yourself a favor, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any upload and update. And use OneXBet for all your betting services. They bring you the best odds around town. I'll speak to you in the next one.